Successful people come in many forms. They might be entrepreneurs or employees, artists or athletes, men or women from completely different backgrounds. Some hold advanced degrees while others never finish school. Yet despite all these differences, there's one powerful trait they share. They don't waste their energy worrying about money. These people carry themselves with calm confidence. They're skilled negotiators, creative thinkers, and quick problem solvers. Instead of panicking over what could go wrong, they focus on what can be built. They plan for the long term. They enjoy their work deeply, not because it's always easy, but because they've learned how to stay peaceful and purposeful even in the middle of challenges. In this audiobook summary, you'll discover how to develop that same mindset. You'll learn how to stop worrying so you can make space for clarity, confidence, and creativity, the true foundations of success. When fear and doubt no longer cloud your mind, you'll naturally start solving problems better, building stronger relationships, and attracting opportunities that once seemed out of reach. So as we begin, take a deep breath and let go of your worries. This journey will show you how to move from anxiety to abundance, and how peace of mind can become the most profitable investment you'll ever make.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Every great journey, no matter how long or how ambitious, begins the same way, with one simple step. Before you can climb a mountain, build a company, or change your life, you have to begin. That first move might feel small, even insignificant, but it's the bridge between dreaming and doing. Think about it. Whether you're starting a business, writing a book, opening a savings account, or planning to begin a family, every new beginning feels overwhelming at first. Your mind fills with doubts. What if I fail? What if I'm not ready? The more you think without acting, the heavier those fears become. You get stuck in planning, and action keeps slipping away. But the truth is simple. Success always starts with action. Just take the first step, no matter how small it seems. Once you move, momentum builds naturally. Don't overthink what the future holds, and don't waste time looking back. Keep your attention on today, on what's right in front of you. When you focus on one small step at a time, progress quietly builds, and one day you'll look back amazed at how far you've come. Richard Carlson once shared a personal story that perfectly illustrates this. When he completed his doctorate, a friend gifted him the complete collection of Carl Jung's works, 26 thick volumes. Inside the first volume, the friend had written a note. Education can't be achieved overnight. It's a lifelong journey made of small, consistent steps. If you read just 8 pages a day for 7 years, you'll finish this entire collection and become as wise as Jung himself. That simple message stayed with him because it revealed the essence of steady growth. The same principle applies to everything in life. Take the example of George, a millionaire who began his journey with just $10. 40 years ago, he and his wife opened their first savings account. They each deposited $10, and that tiny decision marked the start of their financial success. George later said, "If we hadn't started that day, we wouldn't be where we are today." His wealth didn't begin with a fortune. It began with a single choice to start. Many people spend their lives saying, "Someday I'll write that book. Someday I'll start that business. Someday I'll save money." But someday never comes. The perfect time you're waiting for is an illusion. It doesn't exist. The only perfect time is now. So start today. Even if your steps are small, take them. Don't fear obstacles. Every step forward builds your confidence. Keep your eyes on the present and move ahead one day at a time. Because one day you'll look back and realize that your 1,000-mile journey began the moment you dared to take that first small step. Give, give, give. When you give something from your heart, whether it's your time, your effort, or your resources, it becomes a blessing not only for others but also for yourself. Giving opens the door for abundance to flow. Money, like energy, is meant to circulate. It moves, grows, and returns. But when someone becomes too attached, hoarding every bit for themselves, that flow slowly stops. It's like blocking a river with your own hands. The water can't pass through, and soon even your side runs dry. To invite prosperity and joy into your life, you must learn to give freely. Share what you have, even if it's small. Appreciate people who serve you. Leave a generous tip for the waiter who smiles through a long shift. Thank the taxi driver who gets you home safely. Or simply help a neighbor who needs support. These little acts of generosity create ripples that reach far beyond what you can see. When you give, you keep the energy of money and kindness moving. The world begins to mirror your generosity back to you in unexpected ways, sometimes as new opportunities, sometimes as kindness from strangers, and sometimes as peace within yourself. Giving isn't limited to money. The same law applies to love, happiness, respect, and even success. The more you share, the more life gives back. When you spread love, you attract love. When you offer encouragement, you receive encouragement. When you help others grow, you grow with them. Giving and receiving are inseparable. They're two halves of the same divine cycle. So don't overthink it. Give freely without expecting anything in return. Trust that the universe is always keeping balance. Whatever you send out, whether it's kindness, money, or love, will find its way back to you, multiplied in ways you can't yet imagine. Learn the magic of non-attachment. Many people confuse non-attachment with apathy, but they couldn't be more different. Apathy is cold and indifferent. It means you don't care, you don't feel, and nothing truly matters. Non-attachment, on the other hand, is something far more powerful. It means you care deeply, you give your best, you stay focused, but you also know how to let go. When you practice non-attachment, you still work hard toward your goals. You pour your energy into what matters most. You stay disciplined, dedicated, and consistent. But you stop clinging to the outcome. You no longer say, "Everything must go exactly as I planned." Instead, your attitude becomes, "I'll give my best, and whatever happens, I'll handle it." That mindset alone frees you from enormous emotional stress. When your expectations are too high or too rigid, every small setback feels like a personal failure. You start to believe that life is unfair or that you're not good enough. But the truth is, failure and rejection are simply part of the journey, not the end of it. Your job is not to control the results. Your job is to do the work with sincerity and let time take care of the rest. That's the real magic of non-attachment. Attachment creates fear. It whispers, "What if I fail? What if I'm rejected?" Those thoughts drain your energy and cloud your mind. You begin to work from a place of anxiety instead of confidence. But when you let go of attachment, you begin to enjoy what you're doing again. You focus completely on the present moment, the process, not the prize. Non-attachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you trust. You trust yourself, your effort, and the flow of life. You carry an inner calm that says, "Whatever happens, I'll be fine, I'll try again, I'll learn, I'll grow, that calm becomes your strength. When you accept that failure is not the opposite of success, but a step toward it, you stop fearing it. You stay grounded and emotionally healthy. You find peace in progress itself. And most importantly, you keep moving forward, not out of desperation, but with quiet confidence and genuine joy. That's the magic of non-attachment. It gives you freedom without taking away your passion, and peace without making you passive. You can make excuses, you can make money, but you can't do both. At first, this quote might sound harsh, maybe even a little uncomfortable, but that's exactly why it's so powerful. It's a reminder that success doesn't wait for our excuses. Every time you explain why you can't, you close the door on what you could have done. So ask yourself, would you rather spend your life making excuses or making progress? The choice is always yours. Excuses are simply fear wearing a clever disguise. They sound reasonable. I don't have time. I'm not ready. What will people think? But behind every excuse is the same emotion, fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping into the unknown. And yet, the moment you stop giving those fears power, something shifts. Your mind becomes clearer, your energy stronger, and confidence begins to grow. It's not that successful people never feel fear or frustration. They do, just like everyone else. The difference is how they respond to it. When fear whispers, "You can't," they answer, "Watch me." They move forward anyway. As Susan Jeffers famously said, even successful people feel fear, but they do it anyway. People who live on excuses never reach their full potential. Each time you justify inaction, you reinforce the idea that you're not capable until eventually your own story traps you. You start believing your excuses are the truth, and that belief becomes the biggest obstacle between you and your dreams. But you can change that, starting with your mindset. Everyone has made excuses at some point. Maybe you've told yourself, "I'll do it later," or "I'm too tired," or "it's too risky." But right now, you have the power to decide that this pattern ends here. No more waiting for the perfect time. No more delaying your goals behind reasons that sound logical but aren't real. If you want to move forward, focus on your tasks and stay committed to your goals. Every time your mind tries to make an excuse, remind yourself you can't make both excuses and progress. You have to choose one. Choose courage, choose action, choose growth, because once you stop explaining your limitations, you'll finally start expanding your possibilities. Become less reactive and more responsive. In life, we usually operate in one of two states, reactive or responsive. These two modes shape the way we think, speak, and act every single day. When we're in a reactive mode, life feels heavy and rushed. We act out of pressure instead of purpose. We take things personally, snap at small problems, and let our emotions control our behavior. Our mind becomes noisy and restless, making it hard to see things clearly. In this state, we often make decisions we later regret, words we wish we hadn't said, actions we wish we hadn't taken. Over time, this constant reactivity drains our energy, damages relationships, and creates a negative image of ourselves. And the saddest part? When we're reactive, we often miss the very opportunities that could change our lives. Because our mind is busy defending, judging, or doubting, we fail to notice the doors that are opening around us. But when we shift into a responsive mode, everything changes. Our mind becomes calm and clear. We stop taking everything so personally. We see situations as they are, not as our emotions interpret them. In a responsive state, we're able to pause, breathe, and think before reacting. We start to make choices that align with our long-term goals instead of our short-term emotions. A responsive person sees opportunities where others see problems. They stay grounded when challenges appear. Their decisions come from wisdom, not worry. And because of that, they create abundance, not by luck, but by clarity. Once you understand the difference between these two states, you'll begin to notice them in your own life. When you feel yourself becoming tense, impatient, or defensive, that's your reactive mode taking over. The moment you realize it, pause and gently remind yourself, I'm reacting again. That awareness alone is powerful enough to shift your state of mind. Take a deep breath, slow down, and move into response instead of reaction. The more time you spend in a responsive mindset, the happier and more successful you'll become. Because in that calm space, your focus sharpens. You handle problems with grace. You notice opportunities instead of obstacles. And you make decisions that move you forward, not backward. The truth is, success doesn't always come from working harder. It often comes from responding wiser. So, train yourself to be less reactive and more responsive. That single shift can transform not just your work, but your entire life. Work on knowing instead of believing. There's a quiet but powerful difference between believing something and knowing it. Beliefs often come from the world around us, from parents, teachers, friends, or society. They are thoughts we've accepted because someone we trusted once told us they were true. Sometimes we even adopt beliefs about life that we've never personally tested or experienced. Think about it. How many of your choices were shaped by the beliefs of others? Maybe your parents told you that success only comes from a stable job, so you followed a path that promised security rather than passion. Or perhaps someone once told you that your dream was unrealistic, and you believed them. Beliefs can guide us, but they can also quietly limit us. Knowing, on the other hand, comes from within. It's the voice of your own experience and intuition, something no one can give or take away. When you know something, you feel it deep inside, even when you can't explain it. It's that quiet certainty that says, "This is right for me," even when others don't understand. Richard Carlson, the author of this book, shared a story that beautifully captures this idea. He always knew he wanted to be a teacher, to share ideas, to help people, to inspire change. But his outer reality didn't support that dream. He wasn't a strong writer. He barely passed English, and public speaking terrified him. He once nearly fainted while giving a speech. From the outside, no one would have believed he could become a teacher, let alone a world-renowned motivational speaker and best-selling author. But Richard listened to the quiet voice inside him, the voice of knowing. He trusted it, worked on his skills, and followed his purpose. It took years, but his inner knowing eventually became his reality. His life proved that knowing is stronger than believing, because belief can be borrowed, but knowing must be lived. Sometimes your heart already knows what your mind refuses to accept. You may feel drawn to a certain dream, a career, or a creative passion. You might not have the confidence or resources yet, but something deep within you keeps whispering, "This is who I am meant to be." That whisper is your truth, your knowing. Yet many of us let our beliefs bury that voice. We tell ourselves, "I can't do this," or "It's not practical," or "People will laugh at me." Those are not facts. They're borrowed beliefs. But the good news is, you can change them. You can stop believing what limits you and start trusting what empowers you. Your success begins the moment you choose to listen to your inner voice. Ask yourself, what do I truly love? What brings me peace? What excites me? What feels right even when it's hard? The answers to these questions will lead you to your path. Many people have transformed their lives by doing exactly that. They turned hobbies into thriving businesses, changed careers, or found joy in what they already do, simply by shifting their mindset. When you align your life with what you know instead of what others tell you to believe, everything becomes clearer. Because the truth is, your intuition already knows the way. You just have to trust it enough to take the first step. Remind yourself that life begins now. Many people live as though their past defines them forever. They believe that who they were yesterday is who they are today and who they will always be. This single belief keeps them trapped, chained to old habits, past mistakes, and painful memories. They say, history repeats itself. And so, if they failed once, they convince themselves they'll fail again. But that's not truth. That's fear pretending to be logic. When you assume your past determines your future, you give up before you even begin. You close the door on your own potential. The truth is, your life can begin again right now. No matter how many times you've fallen, no matter what you've lost, you still have unlimited power inside you. Power to change, to rebuild, to start over. The only thing that stops you from reaching your potential is your attachment to the past. Those old habits and regrets are like heavy chains around your neck. You don't need them anymore. You can let them go. Your new life begins the moment you decide to release what no longer serves you. Imagine you're in a small boat in the middle of the ocean, sailing east. You can see the horizon ahead, your destination. Behind you, a wave rises high. It's the same wave you left behind long ago. It crashes and disappears back into the sea. That wave cannot push your boat forward because it has no power anymore. The only thing moving your boat is its engine, and you control that engine. The same is true for your life. Your present energy, your focus, your will, your action is the engine that moves you forward. But most people don't realize this. They try to steer their lives using memories from the past, unaware that those memories can't create motion. The past has nothing new to give you. It's already gone. What you have now is the present, the only moment that truly exists. Right now, in this moment, life is happening. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, now. Each moment that passes offers a fresh chance to start again, to do better, to be better. So let go of the old stories you keep telling yourself, the regrets, the guilt, the self-doubt. You don't need them. They're just waves fading behind your boat. Surrender to the present moment instead. Feel its power. Use its energy to move toward the life you truly want. Because life doesn't begin when everything is perfect. It begins the moment you decide to live fully, right here, right now. Experiment with the 1-hour solution. For those who dream of creating something meaningful, this is one of the best times in history to be alive. The internet and social media have opened doors to endless opportunities, new ways to earn, connect, and build a life of freedom. Every day, ordinary people are turning simple ideas into successful businesses. Many of them started small, with just curiosity, a laptop, and a few hours of focus. Some of these ventures are flexible and fun. They don't require long hours or huge investments. A blog, a YouTube channel, an online store, digital art, or teaching skills online, all of these are possible from the comfort of your home. But there's one thing that stops most people before they even begin. fear. We tell ourselves, I don't have time, or what will people say, or what if I fail? But remember the title of this book, Don't Worry, Make Money. The moment you remove worry and fear from your mind, you unlock creative energy, the same energy that makes people successful. You don't have to quit your job, take massive risks, or make huge changes to your life. You just need to begin calmly, consistently, and with an open mind. Start small. Choose something you love or something you're curious about. Do your research, plan wisely, and then dedicate one uninterrupted hour every day to your dream. Treat that hour as sacred, your personal time for creation and growth. At first, it might not seem like much. You may even wonder if 1 hour a day can make a difference. But here's the secret. Consistency creates miracles. When you commit to daily progress, your skills grow, your confidence builds, and results start to appear. Slowly, what began as a small experiment becomes a new source of freedom, maybe even your life's turning point. And if you stay consistent, if you truly give one focused hour every day, you can achieve financial independence in as little as 2 years. That's not a fantasy. It's a reality proven by thousands of people who once started exactly where you are. But the first step is always the same. Let go of worry. Stop overthinking what could go wrong and start imagining what could go right. Because once you free your mind from fear, your imagination becomes your greatest power, and it can take you farther than you ever dreamed possible. Spend most of your time on the critical inch of your project. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to succeed isn't lack of talent, time, or opportunity. It's lack of focus. Most people spend their energy on the wrong things. They stay busy all day, but rarely move closer to their goals. Think about it. Many people complain that they don't have time to research deals, prepare proposals, or talk to the right clients, the things that actually create results. Yet somehow, those same people always find time to reorganize their emails, tidy their desks, scroll through their phones, or plan weekend getaways. They're busy, but not productive. True success begins when you learn to focus on the critical inch, the small but essential part of your work that actually drives progress. For one person, that might mean making sales calls. For another, it could mean finishing a key report, solving a technical problem, or practicing a speech that could change their career. So, ask yourself honestly, what is the most important thing I should be doing right now? If your answer is something easy or comfortable, it's probably not the right one. Real growth happens when you focus on the difficult, high-impact task, the one that moves the needle. Richard Carlson once shared a story that perfectly illustrates this idea. He said that one day, while visiting the gym, he noticed 2 kinds of people. The first group came in with purpose. They exercised on one machine, moved to the next, finished their workout within half an hour, and left feeling energized. These were the people who knew exactly what they wanted, and they achieved it. Then there was the second group, people who wandered around, chatting with friends, taking selfies, or spending 20 minutes adjusting their clothes before doing a single rep. They looked busy, but they weren't really working out. Richard overheard one man talking to his wife on the phone, saying, "I don't understand why I'm not losing weight. I come here every day." The truth was simple. He came to the gym, but he never actually exercised. And that's exactly what many of us do in life and business. We show up, we stay busy, but we avoid the one thing that truly matters. We get caught in small, comfortable tasks, things that make us feel productive, but don't actually move us forward. Successful people understand this difference. They don't work all day. They work on what matters. Even if it's only for a few focused hours, they pour their best energy into the most critical part of their project, the inch that makes the biggest impact. So starting today, identify your critical inch. What task generates the most progress, profit, or satisfaction in your work? Which action, if done consistently, could change your results completely? Once you find that, guard it with your full attention. Give it your best energy, because when you master the art of focusing on what truly matters, everything else starts falling into place effortlessly. Be willing to change. There's an old saying, if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always gotten. It's simple, but it's true. If you want something new, a better career, a happier life, greater peace, or financial success, you must be willing to change the way you think and act. Blessings don't appear by accident. They come when you open yourself to new possibilities and new approaches. Yet most people resist change. Even when their old methods clearly don't work, they cling to them out of habit or fear. They say things like, "That's just how I am," or "I've always done it this way," or "Why should I change now?" But those are just comfortable excuses, and every excuse becomes a wall that blocks your growth. If you keep repeating the same patterns, you'll keep living the same results. Change can feel uncomfortable, yes, but it's also where growth begins. The moment you decide to break free from the familiar, you open a door to something better. Sometimes being willing to change also means being humble enough to ask for help. Maybe you've always been the kind of person who says, "I'll handle it myself." You might even take pride in that independence. But success often requires collaboration. One new perspective, one helping hand, or one honest conversation could be the missing piece that moves you forward. Don't let pride close doors that could lead to opportunity. Ask yourself honestly, has my stubbornness helped me grow? If not, maybe it's time to loosen your grip on the old ways. Think about the habits, beliefs, or routines that keep you stuck. Are they still serving you, or just keeping you safe? We often hear people say, "Be open-minded," but few actually live that way. Most of us stay trapped in the same old patterns, expecting new outcomes. But the moment you find the courage to change, even slightly, everything starts shifting. Change doesn't mean losing who you are. It means becoming who you're meant to be. When you choose to adapt, you expand your life. You'll see new opportunities where you once saw problems. You'll experience growth where you once felt stuck. So, don't fear change. Welcome it. Because every great success story begins the same way, with someone brave enough to say, maybe it's time to do things differently. Maintain wealth consciousness. Wealth consciousness is a mindset, a way of thinking that's free from fear, scarcity, and worry. It's the awareness that abundance already exists within and around you. People with this mindset don't chase money with anxiety. They attract it naturally. They understand that wealth is not just about numbers in a bank account. It's about confidence, creativity, and trust in life's flow. When you live with wealth consciousness, earning money becomes easier. You find yourself taking inspired actions, making smarter decisions, and discovering opportunities that once seemed invisible. On the other hand, when you live in constant worry about money, you block that flow. Fear tightens your mind, and worry drains your creative energy. The more you stress, the less space you have to think, act, and grow. Whatever you focus on expands. If you focus on lack, you'll see more lack. But if you focus on abundance, you'll start noticing endless possibilities. The more you trust that money will come, the easier it becomes to find ways to earn it. It's not magic, it's mindset. There's an old saying, don't put the cart before the horse. In the same way, don't wait to become rich before developing a calm relationship with money. It's the other way around. You must first adopt the mindset of wealth before wealth arrives. Many people say, once I have enough money, I'll stop worrying. But that's not how it works. Worry doesn't disappear when money comes. It disappears when trust grows. So stop feeding your fears. Trust yourself, trust your work, and trust the universe. Focus on what you can create today, the project, the idea, or the effort that moves you closer to your goals. As your mindset shifts from fear to abundance, opportunities begin to appear almost effortlessly. Wealth consciousness isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about knowing that you're capable, resourceful, and guided. When you believe in that truth, your energy changes, and money naturally follows. Strengthen your wealth consciousness, and success will no longer feel like something you chase. It will become something you naturally attract. Laugh at your mistakes. Have you ever noticed that the more you dwell on your mistakes, the more likely you are to repeat them? The more you overthink your problems, the bigger and heavier they seem to become. That's because whatever fills your mind begins to shape your behavior. When you focus all your attention on what went wrong, your energy naturally flows toward the negative, and you end up creating more of the same. Your thoughts are powerful. They can either build your life or trap you in worry. If your energy is focused only on problems, that's all you'll ever see. But if you shift your focus towards solutions, something magical happens. You start thinking more clearly, more creatively. Ideas begin to flow. You become calmer, smarter, and more productive, and your attitude starts to resemble that of a winner. Learning to laugh at your mistakes is one of the healthiest habits you can build. It doesn't mean you don't care or that you take life lightly. It simply means you understand that mistakes are a part of growth. When you smile at your missteps, you release tension and create space in your mind for insight and improvement. A relaxed mind sees opportunities that a stressed mind can't. Every mistake carries a lesson within it, a quiet message about what needs to change or what you can do better next time. The key is to listen to that message without judgment. When you take yourself too seriously, your vision narrows. Even simple solutions become invisible. But when you loosen up and approach challenges with humor, your creativity returns and you start to see the way forward. So the next time you mess up, don't beat yourself up. Laugh. Take a breath, smile, and say to yourself, well, I learned something new today. You'll be amazed how quickly the frustration fades and how easily solutions appear. There is no mistake in life big enough to steal your peace unless you let it. So, laugh, learn, and keep moving forward. Life becomes lighter when you stop fearing your flaws and start embracing them with a sense of humor. Conclusion. In this summary, you've discovered 12 timeless lessons for overcoming worry and inviting wealth, happiness, and peace into your life. You learned that every great journey begins with a single step. No matter how far your dream may seem, progress begins the moment you decide to move. Focus on the present, take one step at a time, and the path will reveal itself. You also discovered the power of giving. When you share what you have, your time, your kindness, your money, or your love, the universe returns it multiplied. Giving keeps the energy of abundance flowing. The more you give, the more you receive. Then came the lesson of non-attachment. Work with dedication, but release your grip on the outcome. Success is not always guaranteed, but growth always is. Learn from your mistakes, try again, and keep moving forward without fear. Next, you realized that excuses are the biggest roadblocks to success. You can make excuses, or you can make progress, but you can't do both. Choose courage over comfort and take responsibility for your dreams. You also learn to become responsive, not reactive. A reactive mind panics. A responsive mind pauses, breathes, and makes wise decisions. The more calm you remain, the more clarity and success you attract. Then you explore the difference between believing and knowing. Beliefs often come from others, but knowing comes from within. Listen to that quiet inner voice. It will always guide you toward your true purpose. You learn that life begins now. The past is over. It cannot push your future forward. Let go of regrets and step into the present moment. This is where your real power lives. The 1-Hour Solution taught you the value of consistent effort. Set aside just one focused hour a day for your dreams. That single hour, repeated with commitment, can lead you to financial freedom and personal growth. You also discovered the importance of being open to change. If you always do what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always gotten. Real transformation begins when you dare to try something new. The lesson of the critical inch reminded you to focus on what truly matters. Stop being busy with meaningless tasks and pour your energy into the work that actually moves you forward. You learn to develop wealth consciousness, a mindset free from fear and scarcity. When you stop worrying about money and start trusting yourself, opportunities flow towards you effortlessly. And finally, you learn to laugh at your mistakes. Don't take life too seriously. Every error carries a lesson. A calm mind and a sense of humor are the true keys to problem solving and happiness. Now that you've absorbed these 12 lessons, you stand at a crossroads. You can keep worrying and overthinking, or you can choose peace, trust, and action. The universe is generous. It responds to your energy. When your mind is calm and your heart is focused, everything you need begins to flow your way. So, let go of stress. Trust the process. Work with joy. And believe that abundance is already on its way to you. Because when you stop worrying and start creating, life itself becomes a blessing, and success becomes effortless.